Hey guys, it's Janine from the Tour Life Podcast. I'm about to record an interview, so I'm going to show you how I do that. But first, be sure to hit like and subscribe and ring the little bell so you get notifications every time I launch a new video. One of the first things you want to do is you want to turn off your notifications. Just put it on Do Not Disturb. Also, make sure you tell everybody that you're about to record. Interview at 4:30, at 4. I'll call you after. I wish I could tell that to the people outside because literally, like, what the hell? Once we've done that, we're pretty much ready to go. So I do have a set of notes. I keep them on my iPad and I put in some of the questions that I might be asking. So that way, if, we kind of get stuck, I can pick it up from there. But generally, as long as I start with a good question, it shouldn't be too hard to pick up from that. My setup right now, you guys, is a little bit weird. But we've got this. Usually I have my iPad right there. But basically this is what it looks like. It is not the most professional by any means. So that little alarm that just went off, I need to make sure that all those alarms are turned off or else we could have a problem. What we use is SquadCast. So SquadCast is an awesome program that basically lets you record local audio. So instead of, I know I've talked about this before, but instead of recording over the internet the way Zoom would or Skype, this actually records onto your guest's hard drive and then it loads it up to the cloud as soon as you're done. So it won't keep it on their hard drive. It's just a temporary folder. But that way you're able to download that local audio. So it's gonna sound as good as it possibly can. So especially when you have people that aren't in a studio, they're not with a real microphone, and you have that sort of situation, then you wanna make sure that you still make it as good as it can possibly be. So anyway, SquadCast is amazing for that. Here is what we do to make a session. So basically you click add a session and you just put the session name. So I'm gonna be like podcast episode. And then you just set it for whatever date. So let's say I only record on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is something that I learned to do because it's a little bit easier on the schedule. Pick a couple days, do interviews on only those 2 days, or however many days you want, but not too many. So you set your date and then you set your time. Let's say we want it to be at this time. And then you can pick whatever time zone you want to do. So I normally pick my guest time zone. So if my guest is in LA, I'm gonna pick Pacific time because I want them to receive the notice and I want them to see it in their time because I do not want to confuse them. If I confuse myself, that's one thing. If I confuse my guests, that's a problem. And then you just add the guest email. So basically I'll just send it to myself. And then we save the session and that's it. So now we have a session. This will automatically send an email to your guest. So they'll be able to log in. Usually what I do, however, I really wish that banging would stop in the background. Like that's gonna be in my podcast episode and I'm not happy about it. Okay, so generally what I do is I send a podcast prep and down here I'll put the SquadCast link. Or the way that you get that link is you click here in the little 3 dots, copy invite link, copy to clipboard. And then you can just paste it wherever to share with your person. But again, they will get this email, but sometimes they won't know what it is. It'll go into their junk. So make sure you send it to them from your personal email as well. All right, so then you go ahead and you join. So I don't think Mark is gonna be on here just yet because we still have 5 minutes before we record. All right, so this is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see the camera. So this is what's happening. It's a little bit slow simply because I'm recording on QuickTime. I'm doing a screen record. But basically you're gonna have your microphone. So you just wanna make sure that whatever microphone you're using shows up here. Okay, you don't ever wanna use the built-in microphone just because it's gonna be terrible. So just get a USB mic, or if you have if you wanna connect a regular analog mic, just make sure you have your interface and you'll be good to go and it'll be able to recognize it. For speakers, right here it says MacBook Air speakers. I wanna use my external headphones. So right here, I pop them on. You have your echo cancellation. I always turn it on because it does tend to get rid of a little bit of the ambient noise that you tend to get. That's pretty much it. All right, so now you can just join session. I don't think he's gonna be there, but I guess we'll see, right? He's not. Perfect. All right, so what you'll see here is Mark would be right over here, who I'm about to record with. You basically just hit record. So as you record, it's listening to whatever's in the microphone, and then you just, record it for however many seconds. You can also go here to turn your microphone off. So whenever I'm asked a question and the other person's answering, I always turn off the microphone because I don't want my dog barking in the background, which happens sometimes since I don't have a studio. And you can also turn off camera. So if, for whatever reason you need to step away and you don't want them to look at all the things you have in the background, you can go ahead and turn that off. So it's just gonna keep recording, and then here it's gonna show you all of the recordings. So that's happening right now is currently uploading. So as it's recording, it's saving it so that it could send it up to the cloud. This is where you invite guests. You can copy the clipboard and you can invite up to 3 guests. So that's 4 people total, and it'll record all of the audio locally, and then later it'll mix it. And then if you wanna chat with anybody, you can chat, because sometimes things aren't working out or they can't hear you. So it's nice to be able to chat just in case you're trying to sort those things out. So one of the really important things about recording people remotely is that you just need to have a good software. So you can just record your video call or the audio call from Zoom or from Skype. You can totally do that, and you can use it for your podcast. And right now, people's expectations aren't super high just because of the limitations that we have because of COVID. Once that's over, you really do want to make sure that what you record actually sounds good. My absolute best investment when it comes to my podcast has been SquadCast and also Calendly. Those are not super necessary things, but Calendly helps me actually schedule everybody, which is really difficult to do. And, just being able to give them that availability and then, just shoot them the link, it literally makes people schedule their interviews, which is great. And then as far as SquadCast goes, it's so time consuming to fix audio yourself. And if you have a bad file, it's just not gonna be that great. The other one was Alitu, but that's because it actually helps me put the episode together. I do have a video that you can watch. It's gonna show you exactly how to create an episode using Alitu. It's gonna sound professional and it's gonna be great. All right, so Mark's about to hop on. Sorry, I'm working on a YouTube video, so. Well, anyway, he's on, so we're gonna record and then I'll explain what we do after. All right, so now that we're done recording, all we're gonna do is we're gonna look at our recordings, and here we have a few. We actually ended up talking for close to 2 hours, so this was a really good conversation, you guys. But basically, you can mix it right here. So you can take these couple ones. Let me see, hold on. We've got this one, hour 46, hour 46. You just make sure it matches up in time. Sometimes if you record a little bit extra, obviously you don't wanna mix that in. You only wanna mix the actual conversation. As long as it matches up, you mix, and then you can just mix the recordings right here. Now, you don't have to do that. I usually just pull out the entire WAV file. A WAV file is basically an audio file that's big. It's like the biggest, best quality file that you can download. And so I just download the WAV file. Then once I've downloaded them individually, I open up GarageBand. You can put it into Pro Tools. You could probably put it into Ableton. Technically, you could put it into Premiere. I'd rather not. I'd like to just use an audio program. But anyway, then you download those WAV files and then you can throw those into your audio editing software to actually create your episode. You could basically do a similar thing if you did it through Zoom or if you did it through Skype. You would just have to actually just record the interview as you're doing it. So basically when you're using Zoom, you can record while you do the interview. You have to do it live. So if I have a new meeting, basically what I would do is I would just record the screen. So you just click here, you record it, and it gives you the whole recording of the video and of the sound. But again, it's not gonna be local audio for your remote guest. It's only gonna be local audio for you. One thing that you might have issues with when it comes to Zoom is separating the audio file from the video file. So you can do that on iPad, on iOS, I do it on my iPad Pro with LumaFusion. You literally would just drag the audio file out. You can definitely do it in Premiere, and you can definitely do it in Final Cut Pro. If you're just using iMovie, you can't separate the audio file. All right, that's all I have for you. Let me know if there's anything else you want to learn about, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, ring the little bell so you get notifications every time I launch a new video, and don't forget to check out the Tour Life podcast, where I interview music industry professionals about living happier, healthier lives on and off the road.